When sight reading at the piano, how do you know whether you've hit the right notes or not? Since you're not meant to look down at your hands and check, how do you know? Well, the short answer is ear training. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you an app that can help you with that. And stay tuned until the end of the video where I show you my favorite part of the app. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Manu from Piano Sight Reading, where I give sight reading tips to piano players. Recently on my channel, I received a comment from Roger Dalton, who said this: "When I'm home practicing alone without my teacher, I don't always know when I hit wrong note, since I'm moving through the exercise without stopping and watching the notes and not my hands. Any suggestions on how to handle this?" So this is a really good question. How do you know whether you've hit the right notes or not? And so I answered by saying that the only way to really know whether you hit the right notes or not is through your ears, through ear training. Because the moment you can tell just by listening whether you hit the right notes or not, you no longer need to look down. So the moment you play notes, your ears give you feedback and tells you whether you hit the right notes or not. That's why it's really important to develop ear training, even as a piano player. You might make the mistake of thinking, well, as long as I know which notes correspond to which keys, then I'm good to go. But actually, because you don't want to be looking down at your hands all the time, you do need to develop the skill of knowing how things should sound, how intervals sound, how major and minor sound, etc. And recently I've discovered an app called EarMaster, which is a fantastic app, not just for ear training, but also for sight singing, music theory, jazz, if you're into jazz, rhythm, etc. So it's an app for not just beginners, but for advanced students as well. And it's available for any device, Android included. And it's been around since 1996, and it's now used across the world in music schools and by any type of musicians. It's not just for piano players, it can be used for any musician. I have tried the app myself on my iPad, and I've gone through some of the exercises, and I must say I'm really impressed overall. I think it's very easy to use, the exercises are fun, you can customize a lot of things, and I think my favorite part is that you can learn the different music concepts through lots of different types of exercises. And I will show you in a moment the types of exercises you can do. So let's have a look inside the app. We are now inside EarMaster. Now let's first look at beginner's course. So beginner's course is where you can learn about music theory, from pitch, intervals, triads, harmony, rhythm. So it has really everything you can think of. And what's really nice is that it's progressive. So if you follow the order that is here, you can really build one skill after another. I will show you some of the pitch exercises. So this is where you have to sing back a pitch. So we'll play you a pitch and then you have to sing it back into the microphone. Oh, that's a bit high for me. So please note that the app is very sensitive. So if you're even just a tiny bit flat, it will pick up on that. So you can see it's marked a red cross, so apparently I wasn't sharp enough. But that is quite a high note for me. Let's try another one. Do. Yes, I got it. That was quite low for me, but I got it. So you can keep going like that. You can always customize each exercise if you want as well. Now let's look at this one. This is where you compare two intervals. So it shows you the names of each interval, and you have to select the larger interval, and it's the major second, and then it shows you what the exercise played. And then building on from there, you have something similar, but this time without the name of the interval. So now you really have to listen which interval is larger. Now this one is where you have to identify the interval based on the name. So it's either unison or major second. So that was major second. And let's do one more in the pitch section. So this is where you have to sing two notes, I think. Do, do. Okay, and again I was a bit flat because it's quite high for me. But the nice thing is that if you notice the exercises are out of your vocal range, you can go to the settings and then change. So if you're a man, you might want to put countertenor, tenor, baritone or bass. And if you're a woman, you would be the ones at the top. I might actually be more of an alto, so I'll change it to alto. So those are the pitch exercises, and of course you gradually learn more intervals. So after the major second, you learn the third, fourth, fifth, etc. So it gets progressively harder. Now let me show you some of the rhythm exercises. For example, you have to tap along to an exercise, say this one. So it will count you in, and then you have 2 bars, and then you have to clap back what you just heard. And it shows you immediately whether you got the right rhythm and whether it was on time. So that's quite fun to do as well. And you have one where you have to detect errors. So it will play you, well, let me show you. Okay, so you have to detect what is different to what's written. So they actually played it where this one was a rest, not a note. So you just need to press on the beat that was wrong. And that was correct. You also have dictations, and this is also applies to pitch. You can write dictations with pitch. Let me show you with just the beats. Okay, so here you had note, note, rest. So now I have to change it down here to a rest. And then it was back to a note. Let's see. Okay, so I think you get the idea. So it's a lot of, you get singing, dictations, clapping along, so it's quite fun to go through this. And then if you know what you want to work on, you can go in general workshops, and so you have intervals, chords, scales, rhythm and melodies. So you can zoom in on the things you want to work on. For example, let's say I want to work on interval identification. Then you could just go there. Or for example, scale identification. Let's see what this looks like. Now, I'm not super familiar with modes, but I know it was not major. Let's try Lydian. Ah, that was a lucky guess. So you can either do it this way, or the best part is to customize your exercises. So say you know what you need to work on. For example, let's say in intervals, I'm not so good at, let's say, major and minors. For example, minor thirds and major thirds, and same with major sixth and minor sixth. Then I could just work on those, and I can decide how I want to play, have them played, whether ascending, descending, or together. Let's do all of them, and you can also select how many questions you want. Let's see. I think that's some major sixth. Yeah. Okay. And you can do this with any of these sections. So for example, if you are not so good at detecting chords, major and minor chords, you could do this here. And again, you can select how you want them to be played. Probably as chord, you might want to just play them as chords. I think that's major. So it's really easy to use, it's very fun, and the really cool thing is that it records everything you do. So if you go in the stats, you can see at a glance your scores, and then you can zoom in, say, okay, how did I go in beginner's course? And then you can zoom in even further, and it has all the details, the date, how long it took you to answer, how many attempts. So if you're not sure how well you did, you can go in here and see at a glance which sections you need to work on. So that is EarMaster in a nutshell. Of course, there is a lot more that I didn't get to show you. And in the settings, you can also decide, say, if you play a different instrument, say the violin, you might want to hear all of the exercises as a violin sound. But because you are a piano player, I would suggest sticking with piano, but know that you can choose the instrument there. And you can also choose the sound of the hand clap, so you can have a bit of fun with that. It's really up to you. If you would like to purchase EarMaster, you have several options. So if you are just an individual, you can either pay a subscription, which is a monthly payment, or a one-time purchase. So say you want to use EarMaster on all your devices, not just one, then you would go with the monthly subscription. And the price is really reasonable. either you pay monthly, which is $4.99 a month, or you go for the yearly option and then you only pay $2.99 a month. Now, if you only want to use EarMaster on one device, you can also just pay a one-time fee. So if you want on your computer, you would probably get this one, EarMaster Pro 7, and you can always purchase some upgrades as well. Or if you want on your phone, you can actually just pay the sections you want. So if you're only interested in the first 3 that I showed you, you could just pay these 3 and that's it. You wouldn't have to pay again. It's just a one-time fee. So if you're interested in purchasing EarMaster, have a look at my link at the bottom of the video in the description, and by using my link you will support the channel so that you see more videos like this, and it's at no extra cost to you. It's just my personal link so that it supports my channel. So I hope you find it useful. I would strongly recommend that you look into an ear training app, whether this one or another app, although I think this one is really good in that it includes sight singing and dictation. It's not just involving your ears, it's also involving your singing, which can really help with developing your ear. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, then please like it and share it with your fellow musicians, and don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Happy sight reading!